I am Maria Garcia de Fleury. Ignatius was born in Loyola, Spain in 1491. He was a passionate and enterprising man who served under the king's command to defend his territories. He was a good soldier, but his life changed when, after being wounded by a cannonball that broke his leg, he experienced different feelings, realizing he could not longer continue his life as a military knight. During his convalescence, he read two books, one on the life of the saints and the other on the life of Christ. He is an example of the importance of good reading. These readings led him to think that if so many acts of spiritual heroism were possible in the lives of others, why couldn't they be in his own? His longing for God grew ever stronger. He decided to make a pilgrimage to the shrine of Our Lady of Montserrat, known as the Black Virgin, where he chose to live a life of penance, solitude, and prayer. From there, he went to Manresa and spent a year, during which he was inspired to write the spiritual exercises as a method of spiritual discernment and a search for closeness to God. Over the years, he continued to develop and perfect them. He made a pilgrimage to the Holy Land, studied in Barcelona, Alcalá, and finally at the University of Paris, where he received his Master of Arts degree in 1534. In Paris, he met like-minded spiritual companions whose names are well known in Jesuit annals, such as Francis Javier, a Basque Spanish like Ignatius, Fabre, Lainez, Salmerón, Rodriguez, and Bobadilla. Together, they became the Society of Jesus, the first Jesuits defenders of the faith in times of heresy and confusion. On the feast of the Assumption of Our Lady, August 1534, these men professed vows in the chapel of Saint Denis on the hill of Montmartre in Paris. They promised to work for the glory of God and defend the truth of Christ. They agreed that upon completing their studies and becoming priests, they would go over to the Holy Land, to Jerusalem. But if they could not go within a year, they would go to Rome and offer to go anywhere the Pope deemed necessary. Saint Ignatius of Loyola must be seen as a man who responded to the needs of his time. Faced with the rise of Luther's Protestantism and the attacks on the church that sought to reform it, he proposed an ecclesial and spiritual renewal. He was a driving force behind the Counter-Reformation, along with Saint Teresa of Avila, becoming the bridge between the church and emergent modernity by reaffirming Catholic doctrine and seeking to recover the territories and spaces that the church had lost. During this Counter-Reformation in 1540, he founded the Society of Jesus, the Jesuits, which was approved by Pope Paul III that same year. From the beginning, the Jesuits professed the vows of poverty, obedience, and chastity, but St. Ignatius added another vow, obedience to the Pope. He was different from other religious orders because, among other things, he required that priests be well trained and prepared to defend the truths of the Church while also living in poverty. The Jesuits were and still are dedicated to evangelizing, to bring people closer to God, to find Him in their lives, and to reconcile themselves with God, with themselves, and with creation. The motto of the followers of St. Ignatius is, "To the greater glory of God," because everyone recognizes that with God we always win.